Namaste, namaste, and welcome to this short practice. This is a yin yoga technique that I wanted to share with you for those of you who spend a lot of time with the upper body in distress. So the neck, the shoulders. This is just one possible technique, but it's one that I think that people find useful, particularly if your low back niggles as well. So for this, I'm using two bolsters, which you can see here. You don't have to use bolsters if you don't have them to hand. A couple of pillows under each leg, particularly if you put something quite firm underneath them, like a little row of books, or you can use some yoga blocks if you have them to hand. But the top part should be a little bit firm and a little bit supportive. So you don't want anything like, you don't really want to rest your legs on something hard like books if you can avoid it. I've also got a blanket here, which I thoroughly recommend. And what you're going to do is just sitting on the floor, make sure that your legs are supported by the bolsters themselves, but your bottom's on the floor. Cover yourself up to be nice and warm. And then just gently relaxing down. If you've got a handy person, you might get them to put the bolsters or the supports underneath your legs once you're laying down, which is also quite nice. Here you can fold your arms at the elbows and place your hands onto your abdomen, or release your arms wide, whichever you feel is best. I prefer to have my arms released away from the body because it allows the back of my shoulders to really find space against the floor. And then all you're doing is gently letting go into the floor, into the support underneath the back of the legs. You can feel the back of the pelvis is really supported here. A lot of the length of the spine is actually on the floor as well. It's just by nature of the position that we're in. So it feels like the expanse of the back and the space between the shoulder blades and the backs of the shoulders, the upper back, the backs of the arms, everything is supported. And also the back of the neck, the back of the head rather. Now the neck is never going to find the floor for most of us. And it shouldn't either, it's not supposed to. But if you can here, just gently turning your head one side and then the other, allowing the weight of the head to be on the floor really helps to release the muscles supporting the back of the neck so that they can find a little bit of release and relax. When the back of the body is supported, those muscles that have been switched on, holding us in our hunched over our computer's position all day, can begin to switch off. And this is one of the best ways to let go of tension in that area. When you're ready, you can bring your body to stillness. Stillness is the most important part of any yin practice. And then gently breathing, softening your forehead and the area around your eyes, your mouth, your tongue, your jaw. Allow the body to feel heavy, supported, warm, so that you can simply breathe and be and relax. You'll be here for a few minutes. There's nothing else to do but breathe and be and relax. At the end of your next exhalation, just preparing to move. Maybe wiggle the fingers and toes and bring a tiny bit of movement back to the wrists and ankles. You can draw your knees in towards you, still resting the feet on top of the bolsters, and then just gently turn to one side. Curl up on your side for a moment to allow your body to come round a little at a time. And then when you're ready, you can come into any comfortable upright position. Feels good, doesn't it? So I said at the beginning, this is a yin pose, but of course it's not. It's from restorative yoga. However, they are sometimes misinterpreted as being the same, but definitely closely related. So if you have spent the day forward folding or being a little bit hunched in your posture over a keyboard, sitting at a desk, or because your job involves that kind of work. I was planting bulbs this weekend, so lots of forward folding. Then this posture that we've just done actually takes the spine back to a more neutral shape, rather than trying to go straight into something that's chest opening and back bending. But you can also do that as well. So for that, we only need one bolster. We'll put one to one side. If you don't have a bolster, a rolled up blanket or beach towel might be quite good. Or you could take the same pillows that you've used underneath your legs and put them underneath your back. I'm also going to use a yoga block, which I'm going to put where my head will go. And then if you have a bolster that's filled with buckwheat, you might like to just give it a little bit of a tap so that most of it falls down to one end, makes this end a little bit more narrow. We're putting the narrow end underneath where our backs will be, and the firmer end, which is supported by the block, where our head will be. As I say, a couple of pillows, a rolled up blanket, anything that gives you a sense of lift, and you don't need to raise the head up if you're closer to the floor. Most people find a bolster a little bit big for doing something long held over. Not most people, some people. We're going to get our buttocks, the low backs, right up against the base of whatever support we're using. Still got our blankets in place because, we're not moving very much, so it's common for the body to cool down. We can start with the feet bent and just ease ourselves back over this support. We want to feel comfortable here. So if you need to raise your head up a little bit more with an extra pillow or cushion or block, then please do so. Here, the low back is really well supported by the bolster beneath us. So I quite enjoy back bending, so for me it doesn't feel uncomfortable at all. But if it feels like it's too big for you, make a lower support with a squashier something underneath you, like a rolled up blanket. And here we want to allow the sides of the body to gently mold around the support behind us, so that as the arms reach to the floor, it feels like the chest is opening and the sides of the body melting down. And it might feel that your shoulder blades are almost cupping that support behind you, perhaps. Now, I'm going to cover up with my lovely blanket, now that I've demonstrated that. And at the moment, we've got our feet on the floor with the knees bent. But you might also like to explore extending the legs to be straight. So that is a nice alternative. If it feels good in the hips and in the low back, then it's great to extend the legs. It's a little bit more restful for the body. It doesn't matter if you leave the knees bent with the feet on the floor. If that helps to support your pelvis to make your spine more comfortable, that's great too. Wherever you are, allowing the back of the head to be nice and heavy into your support. the back of the body to mold itself around the support so the sides of the body can fall towards the floor. And here focusing on the front of the body, that space that you feel from the pelvis right up underneath the rib cage, maybe even to the underneath of the chin. And as you breathe here, you can feel the back of the ribs pressing into your support. You can maybe feel the sides of the ribs opening into the space you've created between the body and the arms. And you can maybe feel the front of the ribs lifting in front of you. So this is a supported fish pose, and we're going to breathe deeply here. So nice and soft and gentle, your breath as quiet as makes you comfortable. A softness to the forehead, the area around the eyes, the mouth, the tongue, and the jaw. Allow also the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet to be soft. And again, we're holding here for a few minutes. If your mind wanders, simply bring it back to your breath. Or that feeling of openness in the front of the body. At the end of your next exhalation, just preparing to move. Bring a little movement to your hands and your feet. And if your legs are extended, you might like to draw the knees in to place the feet back on the floor. And if your arms are extended away from the body, you might like to draw them closer towards you as well. We have to gracefully dismount our support. So we're going to roll to one side and just gently and slowly ease that support out from underneath the body and then roll back onto our backs with the feet on the floor to find a nice neutral shape against the floor again. And this is called constructive rest, this pose. And it's a really nice pose to use between postures in restorative or yin practices. But it's also a nice way to make sure that you're back to feeling ready for more movement, perhaps, before moving. If you'd like to here, you can gently roll the head from one side to the other, just releasing any tension from the back of the neck. And then when you're ready, you can roll to one side and make your way up to sitting or any upright position that feels good. So hopefully as a result of those practices, you can feel the easing of any tension that you've had because of your habitual posture. And I hope that you enjoy these. You can hold them for longer than we've done today. There are slightly different variations as well, and there are some of those available on this channel. And if you wish to hold them and listen to some music or use them as a relaxation, then that is okay. Although I would say always end with a little bit of lying flat on the tummy or the back if you can. If you found it useful, please let me know, and I look forward to offering you something again soon. Namaste.